Okay, so here's the start of the digestive system. So just a quick overview. Digestive system begins with when you swallow your food, it goes into the esophagus. So then the function of peristalsis is what's moving the food down your esophagus. And then it enters the stomach here. From the stomach, it goes to the small intestine. From the small intestine, it goes to the large intestine. And then it will go into the rectum from there. And then along this pathway of digestive system, there are different accessory organs like the pancreas, the gallbladder, the liver, and all that are secreting specific enzymes to help with breaking down and digesting the food. So as far as models go, we're going to start with the lower esophageal sphincter on your structure list. The upper esophageal sphincter would be up higher. That would be allowing the food to enter the esophagus up at the top. But the lower esophageal sphincter is what opens and allows food to go from the esophagus into the stomach. So that's going to be the top there. So there's your lower esophageal sphincter. And then the esophageal hiatus that's on your structure list is where the esophagus goes through the diaphragm. And there is a picture of that on your PowerPoint, so make sure to look at that. But as far as that first portion goes, it's just the lower esophageal sphincter on the superior part of the stomach. So then if we go into the stomach, there's 4 areas of the stomach. You have the fundus, which is the elevated part at the top here. And then the cardia, and this is just the portion right after the food enters the stomach. So cardia would be through here. The body is the large curved part. So this whole area right here is the body. And then the pylorus is what continues, which would be this different color here, and connects with the small intestine there. So then for food to travel from the pylorus of the stomach into the small intestine, you have what is called your pyloric sphincter, which would be in there as well. And then if I take off this, you can see the pyloric sphincter here. So that's controlling food going from the stomach into the small intestine there. So then it would enter the duodenum from the pyloric sphincter. And then if you look on the inside of the stomach, it has all these little ridges. Those are called rugae, and those are what stretch and allow your stomach to get bigger, like after you've had a meal and everything. And then they'll also just kind of shrivel back down after the food has passed through the stomach there. So the rugae on the inside. So then that's all for the stomach. So again, top part, if I can get this back together. Fundus, the area right after it enters the lower esophageal sphincter is the cardia, the body, and then the pylorus over here. And then the last 2 parts I forgot. So this area on the outside, kind of towards the bottom of the stomach, is called the greater curvature. So there's 2 curvatures of the stomach. And then this smaller one that's kind of on the inside at the top is called the lesser curvature. So greater curvature and then lesser curvature. So then that's all for the stomach there. So then once it leaves the stomach, it goes to the small intestine. So if we pick up, these are both the small intestine and large intestines together. So the stomach would kind of sit just above this. So then if we turn it around, so the small intestine has 3 parts. It has the duodenum, which is the first part, the jejunum, and then the ileum. So the duodenum, think of the stomach is sitting up here, and then this little thing right here that you can see with it facing the front is the start of the duodenum. But if I turn it around, the duodenum is a small C shape, so it's just this right here. So just a small C shape, it's pretty small. And then the duodenum connects to the jejunum, which is just going to be the top part. So it's just all kind of mixed together. So jejunum, top part. And then the ileum is the bottom part here. So the ileum is what's connected to the large intestine. So we have the duodenum, top part of the small intestine, jejunum, which is the middle part, and then the ileum, which is the last part of the small intestine. So then if we turn it, you can see where the ileum, which is the last part of the small intestine, comes in. And then this little area is where it would open up and drain into the large intestine. So the large intestine goes up on the right side, transverse, so across, and then it goes down on the left side. So this opening, so it's set like this. So then the opening here would be on the right side, and then the first part of the large intestine that it would drain into would be your cecum. So your cecum would normally set where this little indentation is. So that would be the first part. So the cecum, the first part of your large intestine. And then coming off of your cecum on the right side of the body would be the appendix, and it would just kind of hang down right here. And your appendix is really just the size of your pinky. It's really small. So ileum of the small intestine is draining into the cecum of the large intestine. So then once it goes through the cecum, it goes to the ascending colon. So this is the part of the colon that's going up. So this part right here, remember that's on your right side of your body. So it would set your body like this. So ascending colon, where the ascending colon turns and goes into the transverse colon on the right side of the body, that is called your right colic flexure or right hepatic flexure, because it would set directly under the liver. So the liver would be sitting right here. So right colic flexure, left colic flexure, and that's just the corner where it's turning. So then it turns into the transverse colon, which goes all the way across. So transverse colon here. And then once it goes across, it gets to the left side here. So on the left side, where the transverse colon turns into the descending colon, this little corner right here is called your left colic flexure or left splenic flexure, because it sets directly under your spleen on the left side. So then, once it goes from that left colic flexure, it turns into the descending colon on the left side of the body there. So then the last portion, so if it sets like this, the last portion of your large intestine is the sigmoid colon, which on this model would set in this little indentation right here. So that's the last part of the large intestine. And then if I actually grab this and put the sigmoid colon where it would go. So if we're looking at the front here, you can see how it would set. Here's your pelvis bone right here, how it would set. And then if I turn it, your sigmoid colon fits right in there under that descending colon right here. So if I take it out, the indentation for the sigmoid colon's there, but then it fits right inside. So then the three parts of the large intestine that you have to know, actually just the two parts, sorry, are the haustra, which are these little individual pouches along here that kind of look like houses, if that helps you remember. So haustra, each individual pouch is a haustra. And then that's kind of what they look like on the inside there. And then this little band that's going all the way across is called your teniae coli, and it's just a band of smooth muscle. And it goes along the entire large intestine. So your teniae coli. So those are the two parts that you have to know. So it starts with the cecum, goes to the ascending colon, goes across the transverse colon, then goes down the descending colon, and then the very last part of the large intestine is that sigmoid colon, which is here on this model. So then, if I set this down, we know that this is the sigmoid colon, so that's the last part of the large intestine. The sigmoid colon of the large intestine empties into the rectum. So this area right here is your rectum. And then from there it goes into the anal canal, which is right through here, and then the opening, which would be the anus. So sigmoid colon, the rectum, and then out the anal canal there. And then that's where the digestive system ends. So from start to finish, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, which empties into the rectum and then goes out the anal canal there. And then remember those accessory organs. These are just going to aid in digestion, so they're going to secrete different enzymes and stuff like that to help with breaking down food and then absorbing the nutrients as well. So for here we can see a couple of them. So this right here is your spleen and then your gallbladder, and it's sitting on either end of the pancreas. So that would sit kind of directly behind your stomach, just like this, and on the inside. So kind of directly behind your stomach. So then that tells us that the gallbladder sits directly below the liver. So liver's on the right side here, so it's going to sit directly below. So gallbladder right here on the right side of your body, so more towards this end of the pancreas. And then this right here is also that duodenum of the small intestine wrapping around the pancreas. So then this one in the middle is your pancreas here. And then on the left side, the end of the pancreas, that is your spleen. It is not an accessory organ to digestion, but it's there on this model. So that's the spleen. And then the only other one we have a model for is just the liver here. Sits on the right side of your body. And then you can see how the gallbladder would sit directly below the liver there. But I think that's it for the digestive system.